The backlog doesn't end, it respawns. Every discount, every bundle, every "hey, it's free with subscription" just makes it stronger. It thrives on impulse buys and my delusional confidence. So here I am again, stepping back onto the digital battlefield, the land where abandoned save files, half-finished campaigns, and untouched installs await. So the first game on our list currently has 10 hours played and only 16 of 51 trophies. This is Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. There are no particularly difficult trophies on this game to achieve. The only thing you need to know going in is it hosts one of my favourite actors as the main antagonist, old Johnny Bernthal.
Let me tell you
The hell with this, Shane. I don't
Let
me tell you something else, man. Hey, Herschel, man, let me ask you something. Let me tell you something, man.
Right, jumping straight into Breakpoint now, literally only 2 minutes in, we unlocked our first trophy back for shooting a wasp drone while it's still on its carrier's back. And a few minutes after that, I run across what I thought was an open field, but alas, I ran across some herbs. And of course, Expert Herbalist unlocks for picking up 20 different natural resources. We then kill our 12th enemy without being detected for The Night is Dark, and continuing our streak of not being detected by getting 3 headshots with a handgun in 5 seconds. Unlock 10 perks in the skills menu was a nice fast trophy for executive perks, and the next was Death from Above. This was a great one, but if we kill an enemy 5 seconds after landing from a base jump, we unlock our trophy. I did it from a helicopter, not really a mountain base jump, but pretty cool. We finally destroy more annoying drones, the only bad thing about Advanced Warfare. And of course, destroying 50 of these unlocks Drone Farmer. The Woe of Wit was for finding 20 clues in the world. We popped this after completing a story mission to which this game's story, cinematics, they're dreadful, they're simply awful. However, the game is saved by the fantastic gameplay. And diving back into our skill tree, we unlock 4 classes to pop for Honour. And using those classes, you get a challenge level progression system. Now this guy stole my car keys, so I'm taking them back in a very violent way. And we claim the trophy for level 10 in one of those classes. Now that I got my car keys back, we can go for a nice Sunday drive down the snowy mountain. But who's this? Enemies? Running over 20 enemies does get you the Watermaniac, rightfully so. Now we head back to the shop to start buying blueprints for a future trophy, unlocking Wildland Millionaire. In the meantime, for spending 100,000 scale credits. We then complete the boring optional dialogue at the base, talking to Boring McBoringface. But at least we get a trophy. Discover 50 different biovacs in the game, biovacs being little camps all around the map. It unlocks its free real estate.
It's free real estate.
Back into our menu, equipping all high-end gear will unlock Born in the Purple trophy, and killing a convoy's driver with a sync shot drone. Now this was our next challenge. I actually took a few attempts on this one, as it only worked being very close to the driver when deploying the drone. But we do manage to get the trophy, a brutal stop, and continue on putting down the rest of his team. And again, continuing with finishing a very boring mission, heading back to Jace Skell to hand it in, skip his boring ass voice, and pick up our trophy for completing the mission, The Great Escape. Upgrading your weapons is so satisfying in this game. More satisfying is upgrading 20 of the intermarks for a sweet trophy, Prolific Gunsmith. And of course, there's a trophy for reaching a certain level. And much like my real life, it was for reaching level 30. Except, I didn't get a trophy, I got a bad knee, herniated disc, and more grey hair. Once I show my age, we head back to Jace Skell to complete Act 3 and receive a shiny silver trophy. We then move on to an actually fun story mission in which we're defeating bosses which drop legendary guns. Yellow Leg was the specific mission, and once we defeated said Yellow Leg, we took the completion back to Boring Jace so he could reward us with more trophies. This time, You Can't Stop Us Nomad. And continuing down the story route for one of the final setup missions towards the end, we complete Point of No Return for Change Hurts, and we start our penultimate story missions, Speak No Evil, Hear No Evil, See No Evil, during which we get a very sneaky trophy, one of the funnest to set up by far. This was Snapping Turtle, quite rightly named as well for killing an enemy with close quarters combat from prone camo. We then finished the mission clearing Walker's Wolves out for the trophy Cry Wolves. Alright, let's get serious, starting our finale of Brother vs Brother, the mission to defeat Walker, an ex-friend if you haven't worked out turned baddie, Poor John.
Let me tell you something. Hell with this, Shane. I don't.
A fierce guard of the base, a behemoth, a giant, destructive, tough as heck, probably Elon Musk created robot with firepower enough to take out 10 of you in one go. Simply kill it, you know, with that small little amount of bullets. It's fine, but we probably do make a meal of the thing because we realise there are weak spots. But destroying a behemoth unlocks the David's Challenge trophy. We then progress and get probably the best cutscene of the game, as most of these look like PS3 graphics or worse. Anything with Mr. Bernthal is worth watching, so we can see our character Nomad confront his ex-friend in heated battle of words, before we turn up the heat further and show each other our guns.
Herschel, they know what they're doing. Let me tell you something, they're bound to get us all killed.
We then use our team in a battle to take out Walker, and he's got some incredible revolver that does half your bloody health in one shot. A member of my team takes out old Johnny, and we're treated to a lovely cutscene of the reminisce between the cool guys. We're awarded our trophy, Here's Your World, for killing Walker. And then returning to base, we unlock Breakpoint for finishing the final mission. Now next up, due to being higher levels, we started looting legendary gear. Now equip a legendary weapon for the Lord of War trophy. Satisfyingly upgrading weapons was great, but upgrading one weapon to the max, Mark III, unlocks the trophy, This One Is Mine. And find 40 blueprints and then buy 5 weapons on demand at Maria's. Not too difficult, but it does take a while. This is for Master Craftsman. And as is Attachments Master for finding 30 attachments in the world and then equip one of them in the gunsmith. You can just buy them from Maria. Now we only have 3 trophies remaining, entering a raid, winning a match of Ghost War, an online PvP game mode, and within the game mode, kill an enemy player as 4 different classes. However, as of the 29th of October, a couple days very frustratingly after I started this backlog game, the servers are playing up. And by playing up, the game is in a current state of unobtainable. These 3 trophies are locked completely behind the mercy of Ubisoft now. I'm sure I've said the words fuck Ubisoft 10 times in the last year alone, and as of right now, Breakpoint sits at 94% as it is. Now before we get into the second part of the backlog and you've made it this far, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Well, I made it this far, didn't I?
Much like these legends who are part of the NC Collective memberships and Patreons. So with Tales of Iron 2, this is a fresh run, 0 out of 27 trophies. This is one of the most underrated game series on modern consoles in my opinion. Tales of Iron 2 Whiskers of Winter is a 2D action RPG where you play as Arlo, a young rodent who must seek revenge against a group of ancient evil bats that destroyed his home. The story is a continuation of the first game where you play as Reggie, and it is also narrated by the amazing Doug Cockle, the voice of Geralt the Witcher.
They thought they knew all there was to know of war. Until the War of the Rift.
Now, not being able to explain the entire story, we play a boss battling game with incredible creature design, including giant bat dragons and crazy snakes the size of your mum. Our first trophy was for defeating 25 frog enemies, and we'll be getting trophies for defeating 25 of nearly every type of enemy in the game. For example, our second was the Tau Spinners, not long after. We defeat bosses such as Patriarch Grundleboil, leader of the Rift Frogs, in an epic fight. Being a Souls-like is the closest combat style I can kind of think of, without actually dare labelling it as such a game, but incredible boss fights nonetheless. In the town we have a builder, a smith, a chef and a shop. Upgrading these to level 3 gets trophies, our first for the builder, then heading over to build a level 3 chef. We then use our chef to eat all the different meals, granting us more total health in the game, and of course getting full belly. Across the other side of the village, building a level 3 smith, and then using that smith to craft a level 3 weapon. Really easy trophies that simply require a few resources. More incredible boss battles with enemies such as Glubber the Gut, but a truly magical moment of the game is when our character Arlo is confronted by the protagonist of the first Tales of Iron game, Reggie. We're challenged by Reggie to the King Trials by combat, dealing with entry-level fight, Doug. Now Doug's nice and easy to beat, only had a couple moves so you could telegraph him pretty easily. I literally just spammed overhead smashes with an axe to beat the living snot out of the poor fella. But up after the frankly weak Doug was Dennis, Reggie's brother who, as you can read from the description, has muscles to spare. Now Dennis's shield does stop a lot of damage coming through, but upgrading our weapon previously to level 3 has just made this fight almost trivial. Overhead slams defeat the King's brother and move us onto Reggie himself. Reggie was definitely the toughest battle, very similar to the arena in the first game, not as difficult in my opinion as you can get very strong early on here. Ranged attacks dealt with Reggie fast as we complete our challenge. This unlocks the silver trophy, win the Crimson Keep tournament. We continue our reign of smashing the living shite out of enemies with the cultist owls. Not sure what the cult is for, but 25 of their heads on my axe does give us a reward. There are easy side quests in this game that you only can finish later on with certain items that were fast approaching. Finding the missing fishing rod for our heron friend was the first, along with story trophies like this one, Flying Turtle. This is for riding with Bertle and his flying contraption, when Reggie and I headed off to one of the final story missions. A heartbreak fight atop the mountain as Reggie was already in battle with the king of the Bat Army, Count Kazak. Kazak throws Reggie in dramatic style off the cliff to engage in a fierce fight between Arlo and the king. Defeating the king does grant us a gold trophy. In the Ice Peaks bind them.
Blimey, you fools!
The main story was done. The side quests were yet to be finished, but our first area to clean up was the Golden Forest, with killing the final bounty in the zone, the Sky Scorcher. Defeating the beast does 100% the area for the trophy complete the Golden Forest hunts. Another miscellaneous quest here, with a couple Big Macs and fries for the moles. Deliver the late Mole Donalds. We take the final quest needed for another area, Fear the Sky. This puts us face to face with the dreaded Bird Beast. Wait, no. I just foreshot him. This does complete the outskirts hunts. We head back to the village to finally upgrade the shop to level 3. The resources for this took a tad longer than the others, and the same with crafting more items, this time for the level 3 armour to complement our lovely weapon. Our last fight in the Rift Hunters was another Sky Scorcher. The flying fights are truly a patient battle, completing the fight for the silver trophy, complete Rift Hunts, and then picking up a pair of silver spectacles hidden under a bridge, returning these spectacles to the magpie for another little trophy. And of course complete more hunts, this time defeating the Mudworm Ice, unlocking another silver trophy, and moving straight on to those pesky 25 kills on all other enemy types, starting with the 25 Backstabbers, then the 25 Mudworms. We then shoot our crossbow to destroy the 25 birds, and then put the sword to 25 Death Marches. The collectibles in this game are actually tarot cards. I decided to go around and collect them pretty much all in one go, as to hand them in once rather than 10 times to our incredible Hedgehog Shaman. Handing them all into the Wise Spiky Ball unlocks our trophy. And of course, the final trophy of the game. This requires gathering all of the hidden runes. Once placed, the runes into specific slots opens the hidden tomb, to which we have our final boss fight, Blue Fang. A big epic fight against the final boss. However, being super overpowered at the moment doesn't make it trivial, but it does make it a lot easier than the first game bosses due to the upgrades early on being worth so much more. We defeat Blue Fang with a dramatic finish, and we get the gold trophy for defeating him, and of course, unlocking the Tales of Iron 2 Platinum. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you are enjoying this backlog series, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and consider further support on the membership page or our Patreon link in the description. Check out another video either in the series or a full-length platinum like the two you see on screen now, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.